The EastSide Chapter 16. Teddy! Teddy! I continued to scream, still not accepting his death. Andrew and Danny grabbed me by my arms to try and restrain me, but it only made things worse, as I quickly swung my arms free, yelling some more. Get the hell up off me! Teddy, don't go! You're my best friend, man, please! Still no response from the oversized teddy bear, so I slowly dragged down his eyelids closed with my two fingers and knelt over his body. We sat there in silence before the rest of the poppies ran off into the parking lot as they heard the sirens from the police cars and ambulance trucks. We have to get out of here, Carl, Craig said, lightly placing his hand on my shoulder. Teddy you off into a better place, Jay. Unfortunately, his words brought me no comfort, but made me even angrier. Suddenly, my sadness was being completely covered by anger, and all I could do was think about how much despair these poppies had caused me, especially Christian. I could not let him get away with this, and the only remedy for my pain was revenge. I looked up with eyes that were saturated with hatred and frustration. I removed myself from my knees as I could feel the anger begin to fuel my body with adrenaline. I muttered to myself, this ends tonight, before racing as fast as I could into the parking lot. I could hear my friends yelling out to me, asking where I was going, but I did not answer. I just ran and kept running until I reached my motorcycle and started the engine. The loud noise coming from the motorcycle sounded like a roar as I continued to rev the engine to let my enemies know that I was coming for them. The parking lot was already empty, but I knew that, even from a distance, the poppies could hear me. I quickly exited the parking lot, burning out the rubbers on my tires, and escaped down the road to find the red Camaro. The night was dark, and my only guide was the street lights sitting on the side of the road, and the large full moon, which was slightly covered by some thick clouds. I sped down the streets in search of my enemies, not noticing that, in my haste, I did not put on my helmet or grab my jacket. The night air was very chilly, but I did not seem to notice. The hatred going through my blood was enough to keep me warm. Where are you? I screamed out, viciously, looking from side to side as I made a left down Apple Avenue. I began to become frustrated because I was unable to spot that shiny red car until I looked through a group of bushes waving in the wind to my left and saw the car I was searching for sitting at a red light on a parallel street. I quickly forced myself through the traffic and rode through the bushes and onto a grassy median that was separating the two roads. As soon as I got across the bushes, the light turned green and the red Camaro was on the move again, as it made a quick right down another street. But I knew a shortcut through a small park that would help me catch up to him faster. So I continued to go straight down the road, weaving through traffic while disobeying the traffic laws, until I reached a small park surrounded by benches where people came to feed the pigeons. I raced through the grassy field, picking up speed. The motorcycle was close to its max potential, but I was so focused on my mission that I did not even notice. I moved as quick as possible until I reached the end of the park, which came so quickly I did not have enough time to brake. So I sped past the gate on the sidewalk and into the road, and did not realize the oncoming car, which just so happened to be the red Camaro. I looked to my right and saw the car speeding down the road, not noticing my motorcycle heading toward an oncoming collision. So I used all my weight to bring the motorcycle to the ground and released the handle as I fell onto the street, while the bike continued to skid up the road. Christian was driving so fast that he did not see the bike sliding on the street, which ended up crashing into his right front tire. The collision made the car get unbalanced and flipped several times down the street into a grass field across the road. The doors, windows, and body of the car were completely damaged from the car rolling into the grass and hitting a tree. I looked up in shock at the destruction. I watched as the car flipped several times and hit the tree and then finally landed on its roof. I rushed over toward the rubble as fast as I could to see Christian upside down in the car, using his strength to push the door open. But he was so bruised and battered that he had no strength to get it open properly. I grabbed the door handle and opened it by pulling with all my might until the door finally swung open. But he was still so weak he couldn't even crawl out of the vehicle. His face was covered in his own blood. I saw bruise marks all over his face and body. He looked at me with eyes of desperation, hoping that would help him and not let him die in the driver's seat. I quickly grabbed him by his arms and pulled him out of the car, with some struggle since his legs were wedged in between the steering wheel and the car seat. I could tell that he was still dazed by the crash, but I still had no empathy for him. I assisted lifting him to his feet and leaned him against the body of the damaged car and asked him while wiping the dirt off his clothes, "Are you okay?" He looked at me dazed and confused, still trying to recover from the accident. "Are you okay?" I asked again, sounding concerned. "Yeah, yeah," he stuttered. "Think I'll live." I took a quick sigh of relief and answered, "Thank God," before punching him directly into his jaw. He collapsed to the floor, so I picked him up again and leaned him against the car and gave him several other hits. "You bitch! You think I was gonna let some car crash take away my satisfaction? I'm not gonna let my motorcycle take away this moment. I'm the one that's gonna be killing you." My continuous assaults made him even weaker, so weak he barely could stand to his feet and did not have enough strength to fight back. He slowly dropped to his knees, looking at me with one eye because the other one was swollen shut. He gave me a look begging me for mercy, but I had no mercy or compassion in me for this man. All I wanted to do was finish him for good. I lifted my fist as he stared at me fearfully, because we both knew that this one would be the final blow. I stared into his face and said, "Consider yourself lucky. I get to be the last face you see before I send you to meet El Diablo." Paraphrasing the line he said to me when he jumped me at the park. "Wait, please," he whispered, barely able to speak. "Tell Teddy I miss him." I yelled out, raising my fist to strike, but was interrupted by a loud gunshot which startled me and made me step back and look around. "Sorry, cuz. I can't let you do that," said a familiar voice coming from the shadows. I turned around to follow the location of the voice to see Rich walking slowly toward me from the darkness. He crept toward us and stood next to Christian, sitting on the floor. "Juice, perfect! You're here. Let's finish this punk once and for all," I said angrily. "I'm sorry, Jay, but I can't let you kill him," Juice said, pulling out a gun and pointing it directly at my chest. "What the hell are you doing?" I said, putting my hands in the air so he wouldn't shoot. "He's a poppy, and he killed Teddy." "Aw, he killed Teddy? I always liked Teddy. Funny guy. But regardless, this is about bigger shit than your fat friend. Unfortunately, I need this poppy alive," Juice stated, still pointing the gun at me, which made me take a few steps back. "Juice, is that you?" Christian said, barely able to speak, sitting on the floor, leaning his body against the upside down car. "I think I need to go to the hospital, man. I'm hurt." "Shut up! You embarrassed me enough tonight," Rich yelled back at the injured man, which made Christian murmur under his breath at his comment. "What the hell is going on here? You two know each other?" I asked, frantically and confused. "Yes, we've known each other for a long time. Hmm, We actually know each other very well. He's my business partner," Rich explained. "Business partner?" I asked, shocked. "Is there an echo in here?" "Yes, business partner. Me and this beat up Puerto Rican right here been doing business for years. He's my nigga," Juice continued. "This doesn't make any sense. You hate the poppies," I stated, furious. "I hate everybody. But I love money, and he helps me make a lot of money, Juice said, looking at his watch. I don't understand. How? Rich rolled his eyes and took a deep breath before explaining their relationship. When your dad kicked me out and told me to fend for myself in the streets, I started stealing from houses over on the west side. In my theft, I met Jose Camacho. He had a gang of young kids stealing and selling drugs and other paraphernalia for him, so I joined their team. And one of the members in our little outfit so happened to be Christian. We did everything for Jose, and he treated us like puppies. We were the ones making him rich. We sold drugs for him, robbed guys for him, and took care of anybody that owed him money or had a problem. We made him so respected. He owned some clubs and businesses to make him look legit, but he was as crooked as anybody I've ever met. People loved him because they didn't truly know him. They thought he was trying to help the communities, but no, he was just trying to make himself rich. He started a Stop the Drugs in Our Cities campaign and started a snitch team to call the police on anybody selling drugs in the area. But not to help, to get rid of the competition. He was becoming one of the most powerful men in the city. And with all that money, he paid us crumbs. While he was in the office getting full, Christian and I made a scheme to get what was owed to us. You killed Jose Camacho, I said, shocked by this newfound information. So you're smarter than you look, huh, pretty boy? I was the one that shot him, yes. And Christian was with me. We had Eric drive the car, Rich said smugly. Eric? You're friends with him too? These dudes almost killed me. And you're buddy with them? I'm your family, I yelled out, irate. I don't give a fuck about family. I'm about that money. And hell, he told you to stop sniffing around his little girlfriend, didn't he? With my new connections with the West Side and my takeover of the North, I will have Orlando locked down. No drugs come in and out of the city without my stamp on it. Now that Jose's out of the way, no one can stop me. West Side connection? But what about the feud? I asked, still upset. Are you slow? Rich asked, laughing. I made up the feud. I told Eric to drop the car over on the east side. I needed a distraction. So people would be so concerned about the east side versus west side beef, everyone pretty much forgot about the Jose investigation. It's been months since I shot his ass, and not one report has been filed. All over the news, east versus west, and on the front page of the newspapers. But a little column inside the paper, still looking for killer of small business owner Jose Camacho. Ha! It was so easy. All I did was light a fuse to a bomb that was already ready to explode. It's like everyone's so eager to hate one another just for their differences. And I just took advantage of it. I manipulated this whole entire situation. I even did some damage myself on both sides. What do you mean on both sides? I asked, astonished at Rich's lack of empathy for his actions. The boys and I destroyed a few properties on the west side of town, and even a little on the east side of town as well, just to get the party started. Remember that white boy's apartment? I used the same bottles that you used to burn down the tavern, Rich said, smiling at his accomplishments. That was you? I asked, shocked. Of course. It made you and your friends so eager to join in the fighting. I just made everyone look left while I took the prize on the right. And now I have you as my accomplice. Or should I say, Jose's killer? What are you talking about? I exclaimed, angry and confused. I had nothing to do with that murder. You did it. You just told me. It's not what you know, my stupid cousin. It is what you believe, Rich said smugly, still holding the gun in the direction of my chest. Everyone thinks it was someone from the east side, so let's give them what they want. Or yet, believe. What gun do you think you have been lugging around the last couple of months? My 9mm handgun? It's nice, rips well, good kickback, and great for getting old men out of the way. Once the police find your prints on it, you go to jail, and I get rich. I'm actually thinking of opening a few bodegas around the city, or even a market called Rich Foods. What do you think? Rich Foods? I like the sound of it. Shut up! How could you do this to me? I yelled out, interrupting Rich's arrogant speech. We are family, flesh and blood. We played together as kids, and you lived in my apartment. Yeah, before your dad kicked me out. I was only 15. What does a 15-year-old kid living here do with nothing but a few dollars to his name? Huh? I spent nights hungry and cold, sleeping on park benches, wondering where my next meal was gonna be. My dad died in the army, my mother left me, and Gramps said I was too much trouble to take care of, and that they were too old to deal with me. You didn't even stick up for me or say anything for your dad to help me stay, Rich confessed. Why should I? Why should I stick up for you? I asked back sternly. He kicked you out because you stole money from his wallet, and I saw you take it. He left it on the coffee counter, and you reached in and grabbed it. I saw you from the hallway. Yeah, so? I needed the money. Some guys I owed said if I didn't pay them something, they were going to bust open my knees. So I had to do what I had to do, he replied to the accusation. You should have told me something, I exclaimed. Hey, Juice, Christian murmured while still sitting on the ground, bruised up and bleeding. I'm still really hurt down here. If you don't call the ambulance soon, I'm not gonna make it. Shut up. You always complain about something. Damn. If you had done your job right, none of this would be happening right now. You were supposed to kill him at the Rumble. And behold, he's standing right in front of us after whooping your little ass, Richard exclaimed at his injured friend. Kill me? I asked, surprised. You knew that they were going to try and kill me? Duh. I orchestrated the Rumble. I told old Poppy Trullo down there to go to your place and suggest it. I knew you couldn't resist getting that girl back, Rich said, with a proud grin on his face. Why would you want to kill me? We're family, I asked, shocked that he would do such a thing. Why not? Rich replied, with a question of his own. Don't you get it, Jay? Or are you that stupid? Once the police find your body with my gun on you and your prints all over it, they will assume that you were the killer once they match the bullets. You already had a sheet for marijuana charges and you live in the middle of the east side. Case closed, problem solved. And the best thing about it is the dead can't speak up to defend themselves. Just another victim of this damn east side versus west side conundrum. When would the violence end? Shut up. His sarcasm and dry humor began to infuriate me as I yelled, Fuck you! You would kill your own flesh and blood? Then I know you are lower than the ground I walk on. And your brilliant plan won't work because a dead body with no gun is just another dead body. What are you talking about? Rich asked as his smile began to fade while the expression on his face became negative. I threw your raggedy ass gun in the Anyway Lake before I came to the Rumble. I told you, a real man don't need that shit. You can kill me, but Enrique won't be making a goal tonight, I said bravely. You son of a mother... Rich said, stuttering, trying to curse, as he stomped on the ground angrily at the knowledge he had just received. Damn right you need one, because I'm about to put a bullet in your ass myself. I told you to bring that thing with you. and followed my orders to the leather. Ah! You know, I never liked you. You know that? You always been a punk. Even in high school, you were such a pretty boy. All the girls loved you. You never chilled out with the thugs. Like you were too good. It doesn't matter now. Once the police find out that you burned down the Mexican hangout spot, they'll investigate you anyway. And I'll call the snitch line and tell them that you admitted to me that you killed Jose. And I'll be scot free because the police ain't got shit on me. You know, the feeling is mutual. I replied to his comment. Now I see. That's why you wanted me to work for you. So you could have something over me as leverage. You didn't need me to burn down the tavern to check my loyalty. You did it so I could have dirt on my hands as well, just in case your plan didn't work. Smart cookie. I needed a scapegoat. You fit the bill. You think I wanted you to work for me because I liked you? Rich said, giggling to himself. Hell no. I just knew you'd be stupid enough to fall for my trick. You fake bastard. Yes, phony as they come, I exclaimed. Nah, bitch. I'm the realest beast you ever will see. But I have no problem sacrificing a low paid, punk ass, spoiled pretty boy to get what I want. Now, I'm getting bored with you, and my boy here needs some medical attention. So it's time we end this long story, just like how we began. I'm going to shoot you right between the eyes like I did Jose Camacho. But unlike him, nobody's gonna miss you, Rich explained while pointing the gun directly at my forehead as I prepared for the end. But my demise was to be postponed by my hero saying, Drop the gun! I heard Janelle yell while walking toward us from the darkness, holding onto a gun pointed directly at Rich. Janelle? Janelle! I called out her name, surprised and concerned. What are you doing here? Go back home. This is dangerous. I can't do that, Jay. Not this time. I won't let them hurt you again, she said nervously, still aiming the gun at Rich as he looked back at her confused by her presence. I heard everything this bastard said. He killed my uncle. He wants to kill you, but he's not going to. He's gonna pay. Where did you get the gun? I asked, surprised that she was here holding one, pointing it at Rich. And why didn't you tell me you were pregnant? It's my dad's. I left the dance to go home to get it, and he always keeps one in his desk. I just couldn't bear the thought of losing you. And I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to feel like I was trying to trap you, Janelle explained as Rich began to grin at our conversation, still pointing the gun at me. It's no trap. I love you, and I want to be a great dad for him or her, and be a great man to you too, I said sincerely as my words made her smile. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. I'm I'm sorry to interrupt this episode of When the Ghetto Turns, but I have a plane to catch, so we might want to speed this thing up, Rich said with a grin, looking at his watch. Damn, Jay. Now I see why you got your ass beat for her. She's sexy. Listen, sweetheart, since you like beasts so much, why don't we go back to my place so I can show you what a real thoroughbred is packing in his jeans? Okay. Why don't you pull it out right now so I can shoot it off? Janelle answered back harshly. Ouch! This isn't amateur hour, sweetheart. Do you even know how to use one of those things? It's not like how it is in the movies. Rich responded smoothly while walking slowly toward her, keeping his gun pointed at me. I could see Janelle's hands shake as he got closer. Juice, stay away from her, I yelled out as he kept walking toward her. Don't get any closer. I swear I'll shoot, Janelle warned as Juice did not look concerned by her threats. Go ahead, shoot me. Love to watch a woman during her first time, he said smugly with a devilish smile. I'm warning you, she exclaimed but he wouldn't stop approaching her. So she squeezed the trigger, but to her dismay, nothing happened. She squeezed again, but nothing happened. Juice reached over and snatched the gun from her hand and said, chuckling to himself, "Next time, take the safety off, you dumb bitch," while smacking her in the face with the gun. She stumbled to the ground. Watching Juice assault the love of my life made me lose all fear and inhibitions. I was overtaken with anger, which carried my body swiftly toward Rich as he quickly turned around and tried to shoot me but missed as I dove toward his thighs and tackled him to the ground. The two guns fell onto the floor, hitting the soft grass as we both laid on the ground and quickly tried to get back to our feet. We stared at each other for a while, preparing our fighting stance, knowing that this fight could only have one winner, and the loser would not see tomorrow. Rich began to crack his knuckles while snarling. "Yeah, I've been wanting to kick your ass since high school." "Yeah, and you'll never get the chance," I responded. He charged at me with anger and fury, moving quicker than a running back on a football team, trying to knock me down. But I stood my ground and stayed on my feet. I lifted my arms high while placing my fingers in between each other and placing my hands into a ball and slamming them on his rough back. My attack did not faze him as he used his might to lift me off my feet and slam me on my back like a professional wrestler. He tried to follow up attack by stomping on me, but I swiftly rolled my body out of his direction and hastily jumped to my feet. I screamed out heavily as I tried to assault him with a flying fist that did not reach its target. His quick defense dodged all of my attempts as he chuckled confidently. He moved around patiently until I was exposed on another swing and right hooked me into my gut, taking the wind out of me, but I did not fall. I countered with an elbow to his jaw, but he quickly caught a grip on my arm. He was much stronger than me, so it became hard to break free. He began to twist my arm as I yelled out from the pain. I quickly backed my head into his face with force, making him stumble backward. Suddenly, we both looked down onto the ground and saw Juice's gun lying on the ground between us. He quickly dove to the ground to grab it as I leaped down upon him to keep him from reaching it. We wrestled on the ground, pushing and shoving each other around to prevent the other one from reaching it, which finally got an arm free and slammed his fist against my cheek so hard that I stumbled off of him, enough that he broke free and grabbed the gun while standing to his feet. "I told you, I'm always going to win," he said, pointing the gun down at me, sweating and breathing heavily. "I'm here forever. I'm going to take over this entire state. No moves are made until I say so. I'm going to have an empire, start more legit businesses, get in with the corporate types, invest in stocks and bonds. No more hood rich. It's going to be neighborhood rich. But too bad you won't be alive to see it." I lay there on the ground, staring into the barrel of that gun, knowing that it was going to be the end as he cocked back the chamber on his Glock. I closed my eyes, waiting for the final squeeze. "I'm sorry, Janelle. I failed you," was my last thoughts before I heard the loud gunshot go off, which made my body startle. I felt on my body to see where I was hit, but I felt no blood. Then I realized that I felt no pain. I quickly opened my eyes to see Rich lying on the ground with a bullet wound in his forehead. Then I swiftly turned my head to the right and saw Janelle standing there with a bruised cheek, holding onto a recently used firearm. "Thanks for the advice. This time the safety was off, bitch," she said angrily, staring at his body. She stood there with both hands on her father's gun while still shaking and not removing her eyes from the corpse in front of her. I quickly removed myself from the ground, rushed over, and put my arms around her body to comfort her. "It's okay, Janelle. It's going to be okay," I whispered, trying to stop her from shaking. I slowly reached for the gun and continued to whisper, "Give me the gun, baby. It's okay. Give it to me." She continued to shake as I removed the gun from her and placed it in my right hand. She quickly turned around and gave me a hug, squeezing me tightly while pressing the side of her face against my chest. "I can't believe I killed someone. I have blood on my hands now. He was your cousin," Janelle said as her voice trembled. "Well, he was really only my second cousin," I said softly, trying to relieve the tension, but my words did not bring her comfort. "You had to do it, Janelle, for our family. I will take care of you and our child. I promise I will." My speech was interrupted by the loud sirens getting closer to our location. Someone had probably seen the crash and called the police, I thought, as I heard fire engines and ambulances as well. We both knew that we did not have much time until they got to our location. "I'm scared, Jay," she said, squeezing me tight. "I don't want to go to jail." "You're not. I'm going to tell them that I did it, that I shot him in self defense," I said quickly. "What? No, you can't do that," she said, alarmed. "Watch me," I replied. "Jay, listen, I will not have my woman and my child in a cell. You'll stay out here and take care of our baby. And as soon as I get out, I'm coming straight to you. We don't have much time," I said to her as I could hear the sirens drawing near. I removed the chain from around my neck and took my mother's ring off of it and placed the gold ring onto her ring finger. To my surprise, it was a perfect fit. "You're the only woman in the world for me. I only want you and no one else. Until my dying day, I will be devoted to you. I give you my mother's ring as a promise to you that you will be the next woman in my life to bear my last name." I could see the tears emerging from her eyes as the police cars began to drive up to the small park and vacate their vehicles. "I don't want to lose you again, Jay. I can't let you take the fall for me," Janelle pleaded. "You don't have a choice," I responded quickly, then placed a kiss on her forehead as we watched the police officer approach. "I love you with all my heart." I quickly took Janelle's father's gun before the cop could see what I was doing and placed it in her back pocket. One of the police officers approached our location with his hand on his gun, which was still in his holster. "Now, what in the world happened here?" the shocked officer asked. "Sir, it was—" Janelle began rushing to confess her crimes. "Sir, it was a horrible accident that I had with my motorcycle and the young man sitting almost unconscious by the red car. We both collapsed into the park here and were injured. We were getting ready to call the police, but the man lying on the ground dead was in the passenger seat and was very upset about the accident. So he attacked me and my fiance with a gun. So I wrestled him to the ground and had to shoot him in self defense to protect us." I lied to the cop, interrupting Janelle as he looked at me suspicious about my story. "Interesting," he said, looking at the crime scene. Then he called his partner over to take a look himself. "Hey, O'Reilly, come see this. Wow, one dead body, one unconscious, two injured individuals, huh?" the other officer observed. "Yeah, he said they were in an accident with this vehicle, and the dead man who was in the passenger seat attacked them with his gun. So this young man ended up shooting him with his own firearm," explained the first officer to the second. "I don't know. Something seems fishy to me. How about we take them both downtown for questioning?" stated Officer O'Reilly. "No," I called out. "I mean, she's very injured and needs to go home and rest. Plus, she's pregnant. A cold police station's definitely not the place for her right now. I will tell you everything. You don't need her, and I have evidence that could back up my story." "What kind of evidence?" asked the overzealous cop. "Evidence that I don't want my woman to know," I whispered in his ear so it could seem like I was hiding something from Janelle, but I just wanted him not to take her. Okay, fine. Smith, cuff him, said Officer O'Reilly. Just him. Young lady, you may go home now. But if we feel something's off, we'll be contacting you. Walk over to that lady officer over there and give her your statement and information. Janelle nodded her head as they began to place my hands behind my back and place my wrists in handcuffs. You are so brave. I love you, and I will do what I have to do to get you back to me, Janelle said before giving me a long, passionate kiss until Officer Smith pulled me away from her. Just take care of our family, I yelled out as they guided me toward their vehicle. The cops guided me into the back seat and shut the door as I looked out of the window at my love, wondering when I would see her again. She stared at me as well, wondering the same thing. I could see the pain in her eyes of watching me be dragged out of her life once again. We stared at each other for a long moment until Janelle looked down at the floor and reached to grab something. She held it up to me from a distance as I noticed she had my cell phone in her left hand. It must have fallen out of my pocket during the crash, I thought. She had an excited look on her face, but at the time I did not know why. All I knew was that Officer Smith was getting into the driver's seat and started to pull away. I suddenly could see Janelle chasing the car, screaming my name. Jahvon! Jahvon! But the cop did not stop for her. He just kept going. As I sunk into the back seat, I whispered to myself, the end.